Earl Thomas, more games played this year or Players Tribune articles?
Savage.
Okay, we know the most valuable players in the league are usually quarterbacks. Maybe the top 10, 15 players in the league as far as value goes are passers. But then you get to a second wave of player, and that's the non-quarterback who is as valuable as anything in the league. Now, Danny, let's ask the question, who is the most valuable non-quarterback in the NFL?
I mean, I think my answer would be the obvious one, and then we can talk about, the runners up, but I think Aaron Donald. I just think he's just too much of a game wrecker. When you have a pass rusher, he's on one side, you can kind of run away from him or whatever. You can bootleg out the other direction.
Can't really. No, he'll just track you down.
Yeah, but like Aaron Donald is right there in the middle.
Can we see that again? What is the...
Well, no, I was trying
What's
to...
the tracking down motion?
I forgot the number of Robert Patrick's character in Terminator. Is it T1 million?
1,000.
T1000.
Right?
No, T1000 is Schwarzenegger. This is why I tried to get out of that.
No, the T1000 is not
Would Aaron Donald be as
Schwarzenegger.
effective if he were wearing a lightweight blazer when he was trying to... No? Okay.
Anyway, get back to Donald. No, I think he's right there in the middle. He will blow up any run play. He'll blow up any pass play. You have to really design your offense around him. Like, you have to try and take him out of the game, but it's almost impossible. I think he's the most dominant non-quarterback in the NFL. And, I mean, the stats say that. It's just, you can't block him.
Yeah. Before we get to the runners-up, does anyone disagree?
Yes.
Shocking turn of events that O'Hanlon's here with the contrarian take.
DVOA, great stat, determines a player's value over the average player. Who do you guys think of offensive position players had the best DVOA on a per play basis in the NFL last year?
Per play basis.
Yeah.
I heard you make a...
Is it Gurley?
Should I save it?
No.
Is it the person you made
It's
a joke
Kobe
about?
Fleener, baby.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's not real. He also doesn't even...
50.
He's also too
the only
injured to
position
play
player
ever again.
that's
It's like if you only get
50%.
one chance to register on a stat.
Tom
Right,
Brady.
it's like these guys who it's like the Moonlight Graham. Like, he just had one play out there. He didn't screw it up.
Someone's got to give him a
that
chance,
reference.
is what I'm saying. The larger point of that arguably insane take
Arguably.
is that part of this has to do with the value that a player provides over everyone else in the league at their position. And I just wonder if quarterback's the most important position, it's almost impossible for any other player to be more valuable than someone that affects the quarterback, right?
Right. So you have to immediately jump to backup tight end. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That logic
Injured
tracks.
backup tight
Yeah.
end.
I'm saying even if someone is as good as that stat says Kobe Fleener is above average as a tight end, it still pales in comparison to what a great pass rusher can do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, probably if we had all come in and independent of each other, just given our first in a vacuum answer, we all would have said Donald.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And Donald also is still one of the poster boys for the movement of just us thinking less rigidly about size and sort of like prototypical position, body type fits.
He's the Drew Brees of the defensive line.
Was he like 13th?
Exactly.
Didn't he get picked like 13th or 15th or something? Like, how did that happen? It's because he was
And I mean, he was
short.
He was astonishingly good at Pitt
Right.
in college. It's not like he didn't have good college tape, but it was just, he didn't have the measurables. And now you take something that was initially positioned as a weakness, and it's one of his like headlining signature strengths. His body type gives him flexibility. Ultimately, he is going to be the most elite pass rusher and pressure generator in the league, but they could put him at linebacker if they needed to, and he'd be exceptional.
Make the point about Leo Messi you want to make about his body type. I know, I can see the wheels spinning.
No, I'm not going to make that.
Short guys have a different
leverage, right?
Yeah, leverage. Messi style leverage.
So in terms of, because in the word we're using is most valuable,
Right.
I think you could make an argument that right now Joey Bosa's contract is one of the most valuable in the NFL because he's still on his rookie contract. It's obviously much lower than, he was third pick or second pick. So it's still a pretty big number for a rookie contract, but pales in comparison to what like Donald's going to get, like $24 million or something like that a year. So the value he brings as a pass rusher, at that cost, I think you could make an argument. I think that he's the most valuable non-quarterback in the NFL.
He's going to be the second most valuable member of his own family in a couple years when Nick Bosa is in the league. So enjoy it while you can, Joey.
Okay, so let's move on to sort of I guess we could all agree, the third wave of value, and that's offensive skill guys that are not quarterbacks.
Right.
You look
all
at
of us other than Ryan. Agree.
I'll sit this one out.
Let the record
you look at a
state.
guy like Le'Veon Bell who can do basically anything out of the backfield and just gives an entire new dimension to a Steelers offense that's already pretty good. On that same offense, a guy like Antonio Brown who can get open in any situation. We'll start with you, Mal. If you were looking at that genre of player, who do you start with?
Ty Gurley. Easy. And I think, man, the fact that two of the players we've named so far are on the Rams is pretty notable. Great time to be Riley McAtee, the only Rams fan in Los Angeles.
Now, that's not true. Sean McVay, I think, roots for them.
Sure. Yes. So Todd Gurley is finally getting the money. He finally got the deal that reset the market. And that said, from a team perspective, it isn't just about, how many carries is in a running back's legs. What is the traditional value of the position? It's pulling the guy away from the two letters that define the position and saying, what can he do for our football team? Todd Gurley is the reigning offensive player of the year. Maybe should have been MVP. I mean, Brady beat him out, obviously, but he can do more with the ball in his hands than anybody in the league.
I think Todd Gurley signing that contract immediately negates him from this conversation because he loses all of the value he had as a guy outperforming what he was getting paid. I would say Alvin Kamara, because he is on the rookie deal and he's another DVOA champion.
He's going to break out even more than he did last year because Mark Ingram is suspended for PEDs the first 4 games. Right. So he's going to be the guy.
On a per play basis, he was the best running back in the NFL last year. He just was sort of a wide receiver also and had Mark Ingram in his way. So I think if he can...
He saved Drew Brees' career.
If he can maintain the insane efficiency with getting the ball more, I'm back on team running back if that happens.
Drew Brees, he was going to be a productive elite quarterback without Alvin Kamara for maybe 2 more years. But now that Kamara is there, it just completely changes. I'm ready for anything with Drew Brees. He's like 40.
Drew Brees, that's slow Baker Mayfield, right? Do I have that right?
It's the Aaron Donald of quarterbacks.
The Aaron Donald of quarterbacks. the Leo Messi of quarterbacks.
I think it's interesting that we've had this whole discussion and we haven't talked about corners or left tackles.
Well, we're in sort of a drought with good corner. I mean, the number one guy as far as offenses not throwing his way last year was Josh Norman. But I don't think anyone really considers Josh Norman the kind of shutdown cornerback that Darrelle Revis was, or going back Richard Sherman was, or even Patrick Peterson. Peterson had a little bit of a down year last year. And so I don't think there's that guy where, the thing they say about Revis was that he was so good you would never have to have a safety on his side of the field. So you were essentially playing...
Changes the math.
You were playing with an extra player. The Jets defense was on a power play for like 3 years.
I like that, yeah.
Could you... From just a schematic standpoint, is a dominant say there's another dominant Revis-style cornerback that comes around, and let's say Earl Thomas from a couple years ago. Right. Sorry to bring that up. Like, which of is a dominant safety like Earl Thomas or a dominant cornerback like Revis worth more in the NFL?
Ooh.
Good question. I think, not to sit on the fence, it depends.
Right.
Like the Seahawks scheme, I think Earl was probably more important because what he could do was sort of similar to Revis. Literally, teams never passed to the deep middle of the field against the Seahawks for like 5 years. And that changes the geometry and the symmetry that your defense can play.
If you're taking away the deep middle, which teams want to pass to, you are screwing the offense. And if it's just a cornerback, they can just throw to the other side. I do think Earl Thomas at his peak, we saw how valuable that can be. Danny, let's do a quick over-under. Over-under. Well, let's do this. How about this? Prop bet instead. Earl Thomas, more games played this year or Players Tribune articles?
Savage.
Oh, man. That's a great question. I think he's going to play.
That's not the question.
More games.